Hi everyone, welcome back to Have a Beer with Eric. This is review number 39, and I have a friend with me this time.
Yeah.
This is my friend Ryan.
Hello.
And today we are reviewing Rip Currents. It's their triple IPA that they released for their for San Diego Beer Week. And this year they decided to also brew the same beer but in a hazy version, so it's a hazy triple. And we're going to do them side by side and compare how they are. And so the can says that it is massively hopped with Citra, Nelson, Sauvin, Mosaic, Simcoe, Galaxy, and Amarillo hops. And it's the same hop bill for both of them. And it has a description of the flavors. So the regular triple is dangerously hoppy with notes of mango, tangerine, papaya, and apricot. And then the hazy one is a hazy and juicy with notes of mango, tangerine, papaya, and apricot. So pretty close. And just one more hoppy and the other one's more juicy, and they're both 11.5%. So let's get this ready. You can start pouring the hazy one first.
Will do. Regular.
They actually look pretty similar.
They do. This one's not terribly hazy.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's the West Coast on my left hand and the hazy on the right hand. They look very similar. Not quite as hazy as we were expecting, but let's smell them. I think the hazy one has a bit less of a hoppy aroma.
Mm-hmm. Fruitier.
Yeah, a bit fruitier. Also, I can smell a bit more of the grain bill on the West Coast one. But a little florally as well. So, all right, let's try them out now.
Which one are we going for first?
Let's do the West Coast first.
West Coast.
Cheers. That's actually pretty bitter. It's a very bitter, very hoppy triple.
Mm-hmm. Definitely bitter. Pretty good.
Usually with triple IPAs, a lot of times what happens is that the grain bill, since it's so strong, and it starts to pick up a lot of maltiness in it. But this one's actually pretty bitter, pretty hoppy. So
don't notice the 11.
yeah. And then let's try the hazy. That's actually pretty bitter for a hazy as well.
Definitely a bit thicker.
Yeah, it has a creamier, softer mouthfeel, a bit fruitier, a bit more tropical. From the flavors that the cans describe, I think I pick up more papaya in the hazy one, and mango, and just a bunch of hops in the West Coast one.
Yeah, not a ton of fruits in the West Coast.
Now, a lot of hops and just a very subtle like malt backbone towards the end. But yeah, Rip Currents has been around I think for like 6 years now. I think from like 2012 or 2011, and they have a brewery in San Marcos and also a tasting room in North Park. I've been to the tasting room a couple of times. It's a pretty nice place. They have a kitchen there. They have like I think like 20 beers on tap plus a couple of guest beers, and they have a bunch of bottles from other breweries there that you can try out, and they have a lot of discounts pretty often, and it's a pretty cool place to check out. I still haven't been to the actual brewery up in San Marcos, but we might have to make a trip up there.
We could,
but
I'm a fan. I think my vote's with the West Coast version.
The West Coast?
Yeah,
I think you might be right. It's a bit more true to the style. I feel like the hazy's not actually delivering. Well, first of all, the color, and it's a pretty bitter for a hazy.
definitely really good at masking the ABV though on both of them for sure. I would have guessed like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
11.
it must have used a ton of hops for this too. Like besides it's like 6 different types of hops, but also the quantity that they must have used per barrel. That must have been a lot. Like probably like 5 or 6 pounds per barrel. Not sure, but yeah, Rip Current's a great San Diego brewery. They won at GABF. They've won for their box series, and also they won like really small brewery of the year. I think like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and so I think they're a relatively small brewery in San Diego. They're not that well known, but they're definitely up there with the quality. And their hazelnut porter is actually what was one of the gateway dark beers for me when I was still trying to get into stouts and porters. That beer was very smooth, very creamy, and actually not very like coffee roasty. So that helped a lot. And their barrel age program is also excellent. A lot of people don't really buy their barrel age stuff, but I've had a couple, and they have a great barrel aging program, and that
I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's one of the definitely a top notch one, and they distribute them too. They're a little pricey. It's like modern times prices, like around $30, but I've heard it's definitely worth it, and I've had a couple tasters, not straight out of the bottles, but I might have to buy a bottle soon.
I guess.
And so, what would you rate these beers, right?
I'd say a good 4.4 for the West Coast, and maybe a 4.0 for the hazy, maybe 3.9.
Yeah, I think I would give this one a 4.0 as well, and maybe a 4.25 on the West Coast triple. It's definitely a pretty fun experience trying out when a brewery makes the exact same beer, but in the West Coast in the hazy, especially now that a lot of people are always leaning towards one style over the other very heavily, and for a brewery to do this, to be able to compare how the grain bill and the hop bill fits each profile in each style. I think this bill is mainly more helpful for the West Coast triple, and it didn't really suit the hazy style that much because it made it too bitter. It didn't make it as pillowy and as hazy, so I think it suffered from that. But I do think that if they made their own hop bill and grain bill, but maybe the hop bill can stay the same, but the grain bill to change it up for the hazy style, that would largely improve the beer.
Yeah, usually I prefer hazies, but I don't know. This one, the West, is definitely better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was Caught in the Rip and Caught in the Haze. That's at first I thought it was the same name, but they changed it to Haze just to be able to determine between the two.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's it for this week. And by the way, it was his birthday yesterday, so that's why we're doing the review together. He's been wanting to be on one of my reviews, and we went to Pure Project and Amplified and Duckfoot last night. Had some pretty good beers, a couple of flights, and good time. And we're about to open some stronger beers today. We're gonna have Jam the Radar, which would have been fun to do a review, but I already did a review before, so I'm trying to avoid doing repeats yet. And we'll do a couple other heavy stouts, so that'll be fun. And I'll be posting those on my Instagram, so just stay tuned. And so that's pretty much it for this week. And just subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think, and check out my Instagram, Have a Beer with Erik. You can add us on Untapped as well. We both have an account. Mine's Vizcaya49, and Ryan, yours is.
I don't know.
Is it the Ryan?
It might be Ryan is Great 521. It might be the same.
Yeah, so his is Ryan is Great 521. So go ahead and check his out too. Yeah, just we'll see you guys next week, or I'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.